Well, hey, Cancer, we are going to look at your blind spot today. So we'll start with an oracle card, an overall card about whatever this situation is where you have some kind of blind spot that it might help you to see so that you can better handle the situation. So we'll start with a card about, might give you a clue to what this situation is. Okay. All right, Cancer. Let's see. Oh, the situation looks like this. It's a 10 of Wands. It's a situation where you're carrying a burden and it's time to put it down. You are almost there. You can see the light there at the end of the dark thicket. And so it's a heavy burden where you've used your willpower, Cancer, and you can put this burden down. And the blind spot may be why you're having trouble putting it down. Let's see. Interesting. We've got a lot going on underneath the surface. Oh, Cancer, my goodness. All right. That's okay. We'll look at all of it. All right. So this situation here, here are the cards. And then I'll talk to you about them. So we have a Mother of Wands. She is the queen of the law of attraction. She's sexy as hell. In this deck, she's very protective of her eggs. She uses her willpower to protect my precious. Whatever this is, it's something quite precious. So I kind of see this like difficulty of letting something go in that holding on to these eggs. Okay. Then we see the Lovers. So this could be a situation that is really about a soulmate connection, a really intense, deep connection. It can also be a decision point. The Lover speaks to that, and more things. So let me get all this out here. Then we have our Slowpoke Knight, the Knight of Pentacles here. Does it right? Does it take just as long as it's going to take? He's kind of looking at the Lovers here on the table. There's lots of willpower here. So there's a 5 of Wands. This is competition. It can be kind of a fun, creative process where there's nobody in charge. I like that. But there's a broken heart here. 3 of Swords. This is your mind. Your mind is having trouble letting go of something. It's very obsessive. It's in conflict with your heart. Sometimes we get obsessive and then I always think of it as like, I'm having trouble letting something go in my mind, and so I keep re-hurting myself over it. But it's very much just the feeling when you get your heart broken of not being able to let something go. More to see here. We have a 10 of Pentacles, abundance, security, earthly well-being. So we have 2 10s, a 10 of Wands now and a 10 of Pentacles. It suggests, completion of cycles. There's some feelings here of contentment and wish fulfillment. A 9 of Cups. And another card about choices, but also about how we can have fantasies and illusions and projections and being unsure of how to sort all of that. Here, a 7 of Cups. All right, Cancer. So I'm looking at this. You have this burden. You're almost there. You've carried it through the entire wand cycle here. And you can put it down. But I see both the Son of Pentacles and the Mother of Wands like holding on to this burden. What are they holding on to? It's the Lovers. Okay? It could be like that you're stuck, unable to make a decision. It could be it's a relationship that's very significant, very challenging, very fulfilling as well. It's like the kind of relationship that we kind of look for our whole lives, where you're connected on all levels, mind, body, spirit, heart. So we can see the Mother of Wands and the Son of Pentacles, very determined energies. One is fiery, one is just stubborn as and responsible as heck. Okay, so that, I see that as one part of it. Then we can see there's this conflict, and then this Three of Swords. We have this here, feeling of conflict and competition, and then this broken heart feeling. That's obsessive mind. So it feels like it being conflicted internally. Right, you're supposed to put a burden down. You're holding on tight to it. You're very stubborn. You're very responsible and slow, which I always think of you Cancers as slower than I am, and I just admire that. I don't think it's a bad thing. The things that are informing this kind of stuckness are this conflict between your heart and your mind. Your inner, there's a competition here inside, and it looks like there's a conflict between your very practical Ten of Pentacles needs and your emotional Nine of Cups wish fulfillment, which in a 9 is going to be just wish fulfillment in and of yourself, whereas I can feel like the Ten of Pentacles, unlike a 9, it includes other people. And so what you're having to do is sort through. So this feels like your blind spot right here. This not being able to see yourself clearly, and so you're emotionally conflicted. And it's in your waters, which is your element, Cancer. So this is a situation in which you're holding tight to this lover, and you're very conflicted inside, and it's a conflict between your practical needs and your emotional needs, and it looks like they're going to be fulfilled in two different places. Okay, so now let's actually ask some questions, because that's like a lot of information. It's this is your situation, Cancer, and so let's see what's coming up here for you. That was the Queen of Pentacles that just popped out. I'm not ready for it. So we're going to ask, we're going to pull out 5 cards. We're going to ask how you see yourself in this situation and what you're not seeing. What is your blind spot? And then what's blocking you from seeing that? And then we'll pull 2 cards for advice, and then we will clarify all of it. This Queen of Pentacles really wants to come out. She's your first card. This is how you see yourself. Very practical. You know your worth. A little confrontational here. I call her the security queen. She is about this. This is the one that will be keeping you in this relationship for practical reasons. So you see yourself as very practical. You like your security, and you know your worth, which is great. So what's your blind spot? That's the next card that we're going to pull here. What is Cancer's blind spot? What aren't you seeing about yourself? We'll actually split the deck here, so if you don't identify with this, it's not your reading. Check out your other placements. Wow. Okay. This is what you don't see about yourself. This is the Star. Beautiful Aquarian energy, intellectual, the way that her head is being lit up here. But this is a card of healing and wish fulfillment. It's a very different kind of dreamy energy from this. You can see how different these two people are. She's a little bit confrontational. She's quite dreamy, looking out. It looks like a little bit of this sort of manic pixie dream girl kind of. So this is your blind spot. Okay, so what's blocking you from seeing yourself here? Seeing this wish fulfillment or this healing. 5 of material. So this is again your feeling of poverty, your insecurity. You're very anxious about the practical, and so it keeps you from wish fulfillment and from healing. It looks like. You need healing. We'll clarify this because this blind spot being the star. So if you see yourself as this queen of materials who needs security, who needs support, a partner, a husband, a wife, whatever, a breadwinner, and then we have like this star is what you don't see. There's healing that you need that you don't see. And there's a wish that you're not willing to face. So we're going to pull 2 cards for advice. So the first card is a 6 of inspiration. This is victory. This is your willpower again. It's the card that comes after this one that we've seen. We've seen lots of wands on this table. So this is, to me, this is kind of a passive card, actually. The 6 of inspiration is so much about being recognized, but it is about carrying your will through, and then other people see you're right. And so we talk about it as victory. And it's very much about the perception of others towards you. And so, again, if we saw a little bit, we see a little bit of a kind of dramatic, there's a little drama with this manic pixie dream girl is what came into me for this. And so victory has some of that kind of flair for the dramatic here. And then secondly, your second piece of advice is the Muse of Voices. And this is a King of Swords. So this is your intelligence, and it is about applying what you know, the truth, wisely and with restraint, with heart. I always see heart. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Let's look on the bottom here of this. So there's your bunch of things going on in the bottom. Wow. My Cancer friends, you just have a lot going on under the surface. So you get the Queen of Inspiration again. She leads this one out. So this is very much about your willpower, your ability to manifest what you focus on. Are you focusing on the positive? That will come in. If you're focusing on the negative, watch out for that. We also see the Hermit, a Virgo card of Virgo, but this is about looking to your inner light, reflecting on what you've learned in your life experience and finding your insight in that. There is your mind again, the 6 of Voices. So this is about changing your mind, about moving from being disturbed towards peace. It involves reflecting on maybe this kind of, we talked about inner conflict here. So 6 of Voices would take you out of conflict and into being at peace with something. We see a 9 of Inspiration. This is your long struggle that you're wise and you've learned from it. And then we get this card again. It's the same card. There's a burden that you have to put down. You've done this. You've carried this burden. You've learned from it. I feel like this is what you need to understand. And then when you look into yourself and you accept the truth of who you are, like this is what you're not seeing, we'll clarify. And it will help you to accept that whatever this burden is, it feels like this is the burden, that you're holding on to it needlessly. We know you're holding on to it for good reason, because you've had abandonment, you've had poverty, you fear it. But your advice is really going to need some clarification. We get the 6 of Wands and then the King of Swords here. So, or the Muse of Voices in this deck. So we will clarify. I need to clarify. I don't really understand this advice for you. I see your dilemma. It's very clearly about wish fulfillment in conflict with your practical needs. You tend to choose the practical. Partly it has to do with your nature. You really commit. You're a true blue heart. The Son of Pentacles tells me this is a part of your nature that it makes you practical, earthy, and it makes you really commit. So let's clarify this, okay? You're the first person I've done, or you're the first zodiac sign I've done this for, so you're my guinea pig on this reading. I've never done this reading before, so I think it already is helping you, but let's get some more information, because I need to understand. I'm curious. Okay, so you see yourself as, you know your worth, you're very practical. Okay. 3 of Cups, reconciliation, friendship. 10 of Pentacles, King of Pentacles. There's your partner, your friend, your partner. You'll reconcile with this person. And then there's some work to be done. This is your moon journey, the moon. So as the Queen of Materials or the Queen of Pentacles, you've reconciled yourself and you're friendly to the idea that you need this King of Pentacles. But you also know that you've left a bunch of stuff, emotional stuff under the water here. This card of Pisces. You know, there's moon work to be done. Deep in the waters where that lobster lives. You can see the little lobster there. Lobster is a bottom feeder. It goes unafraid into the mud. Which do you feed? Which dog do you feed here? Recently, I learned from another tarot reader that is actually an eclipse. The moon is blocking the sun. And then the sun is the wish fulfillment and the happiness and joy and authenticity. So you know about yourself that you choose security and you're friendly to it and you've reconciled yourself to it, Cancer. And that it means that you also know that you haven't examined you haven't done this moon work. You haven't looked here for some reason. Or you have done it. Just looking at the bottom, there's your 8 of Swords and there's Victory. There's just too much under the surface for me to go into it, but you feel trapped in this. Your mind has you trapped here, and you know that some moon work might help. So let's look at this blind spot, the star. This is what you're not seeing, is your wish fulfillment. It almost seems like you're dramatic too, but that's not a bad thing, because that's a part of your advice, to be a bit dramatic. So let's see. What does that even mean? Okay. There's the sun. There's your authenticity, your true self. You don't know your true self, right? It's eclipsed by this moon work. Wow. All right. 4 of Wands. This is true soulmate connection. So if I take this couple, they're the same suit. They go together. They might be soulmates. This is soulmate connection. This is both these cards, the Sun and the 4 of Wands, tell me that this is about you being your true self with the people that get you. It's a party. It's a wedding. It's an ideal here in which you get to be yourself, in which you're very healed and your wish is fulfilled. Right, so if you're staying with a King of Pentacles, for example, oh, good boy drinking his water. My dog's having a drink. So if you're staying with a King of Pentacles or a job or something, right, you get a lot out of it. You get your sense of worth out of it. It's not really what you want, but you reconciled yourself to it because you get a lot out of it. What you don't see is that this is who you truly are, and that there is another situation that fulfills your soul and is absolute happiness and joy. Both the star and the sun are about wish fulfillment, as is this card. This seems to be, in your mind, it seems to be in opposition to these very practical things here. The reason you choose the practicals is it comes from pain. It comes from this, right? Okay, and then there's the third card here, Six of Pentacles. It feels to me like because you're sticking with this, you're not going to get what is really there for you, which is what would make you really happy. And so, yeah, you're not seeing what you could have because you're sticking with what's safe. Okay, so we understand the reason why you're doing this. For good reason. You have a history of abandonment or poverty. It makes you practical and sort of security based, and that's what this is. This is a part of why you stay, why you don't leave. This pain or some kind of pain, or maybe staying is causing you pain, and that's why you're conflicted. So let's see. The Hierophant, very much a marriage. Could also be an institution. It is how things should be done. It's tradition. It's history. Big history, not your personal history, but the history of gender or the world. There's the Queen of Pentacles again. Wow. Okay, let's look at one more. Ace of Pentacles. A new beginning, a new offer. So this is why you don't go after what you wish, because is this here. You're very traditional and you're very practical, and it just comes from a history of poverty, and you've come to know your worth, and you're actually supported by this institution, whatever it is that you're kind of committing yourself to this institution. You're reconciled to it. You know it's not where your wish will be fulfilled. Yeah, even this, it tells me like this is your blind spot. Like you will get what you need. The universe will feed you. Yeah. Okay, so your advice, first of all, is victory, the Six of Wands. So let's find out more about that. A little sense from, I just saw Four of Cups, like there's a little sense here. You've just had disappointments and you've really struggled hard. And so this, you feel this burden and you're willing to keep on carrying it forever. So let's see here. What's your advice? There's your broken heart. There's your mind hurting your heart. The Three of Swords. We've seen this before, right? And there's that Four of Cups I just saw. There's your disappointments. And there's a new cup being offered to you, but you can't accept it because you're looking at your disappointments. And then there's action and communication. You don't take what's being offered to you. We know you have a broken heart. We know it. We know you come from poverty, neglect, abandonment. But the cards here say, despite your broken heart, victory lies in acting, exerting your will. There's so many wands here. You do have, victory is there if you exert your will. And victory looks like the star, the sun, and the Four of Wands with the Six of Pentacles. So let's clarify further. This is another part of your advice. And this is more sorrow. This is grief. Five of Cups. You're looking at, there's three cups you've lost. And we see them here twice. One in this kind of more of a light, nothing ever works out. But underneath that is grief. There's a broken heart here, Cancer. And then there's more of that mojo energy, like this Knight of Wands. Like there's so many wands here. You have strong will. This is a wands cycle, right? Because that's your overall situation. You're done. You finished something. The Emperor. Wow. Alpha energy. Aries card, your fellow cardinal energy. So all of this, to me, this is very much about trusting that you can be the leader of your life, that you have the will for this, you can act. You have fire in you. You have a lot of fire here all over the table. The emperor is the leader of his own life. It's also very structural power. He's a good, match for the Hierophant. The emperor takes like raw ideas and fantasies and comes up with a plan and provides some structure for what you want to do. And it's all here under the Muse of Voices or the King of Swords. So Cancer, the cards say twice here in your advice. Victory lies when you take action and you become the leader and the hero of your own life. You will use your intelligence and you will use your willpower. And you can take this Ace of Cups. We can see this here. In a Four of Cups, there's a new emotional beginning, being ignored. And then we see in the Five of Cups, like this is when you are done grieving this, you turn around, there's a new beginning, a Two of Cups. Could be, if it's a love story, that's a Two of Cups, is a soulmate connection. You pick that up and you go over that bridge and then there's your new life. So there's a new life that you can ride towards. But there is this shift from, it's a moving on from what has basically directed your life for so long. And it's this idea of yourself as very practical, as a Queen of Pentacles. And that this has worked really well for you, and it has calmed your abandonment and poverty that you come from. But there's something that you're not seeing, this star with the sun, with the Four of Wands and the Six of Pentacles. It's very beautiful. You're not seeing it. This is what you don't see. This is what's hidden from you. And the tarot wants you to know that you can act decisively and move towards that once you've completed grieving this and you've put down this burden, which is here twice. So Cancer, this is about putting down your burden and going towards the life you always wanted. And let me know. I hope this helps. Have a beautiful day.